Hi, everybody. This is our third episode of Talk Court Docs with Todd and Jeremiah. This week, we're with Angie Vinson, the Webster County Assessor, and we're just going to talk today about some stuff that the Assessor's Office does that every homeowner should know, because this is most of your biggest purchase you'll ever have is your home, and you need to know how to pay your fair share. Taxes is about paying your fair share, and Angie is going to help us explain that today. So I'm just going to, Angie, do you want to introduce yourself and tell us who you are and how long you've been there?
Yeah, hi, my name is Angie Vinson, and I'm the Webster County Assessor. I've been the assessor for about 3 years. I've worked in the office 28, so been around for quite a while.
You don't look that old. I was going to say.
Thank you. It's the lighting.
So just first and foremost, what does the assessor's office do?
Okay, we do lots of things, but our main purpose is to assess real property within our jurisdiction. We have 5 classes of property. We have a residential, multi-residential, commercial, industrial, and agricultural. So it's our job to put a value on that property.
Awesome. And Jeremiah, what questions do you have? I know you have a follow-up question.
Well, I don't even know if it's a question. Here's the deal. You know, when I'm showing houses, the first thing every single person ever says is, what is this house assessed for? And it's funny because, you know, like in the past, when I first started, they were really out of whack. And I just think over the last 3 to 5 years, you've done a really good job of.
I think you hit mute, Jeremiah.
We work.
Oh, you're good now. Go.
So we work with an appraiser, and the first thing he always says is, when we're looking at real value, that's what we get taxed on. You know, the value you have is what we get taxed on. It's not the real value when it comes to appraised value. So I was going to ask you what's the difference between assessed and appraised from your point of view?
Okay, well, assessed value, we are supposed to be at 100% market value. You might ask, what's market value? Market value is what a willing buyer and a willing seller agree on a price for a property. If we're not 100% of that, we can be 5% low or 5% high. But if we're not in between that 95 to 105, then we have to adjust those values. If we don't do it in-house, then every odd year is called an equalization year, where the Department of Revenue can come in and say, you're too low, and give everybody the same increase. So if we're 10% low, everybody gets that 10% increase. Where if we do it ourselves, we can look at neighborhood to neighborhood, town to town, and see who needs an increase, who needs a decrease, or who needs to be just left alone. So assessed value, then what happens is that's what we call rolled back to a taxable value. And so you pay about 55% of what your actual value is in taxes. So okay. Does that kind of answer it?
Yes, that was a very good answer. Absolutely.
Very, very good answer.
I'm taking notes like I'm in school.
Nice.
Every time we have a buyer, I tell them they need to sign up for homestead exemption or military exemption if they're a veteran. I'm a veteran, so I get to sign up for that.
Thank you for your service.
Thank you. But that's something that so many people have questions about. Now, I know homestead just isn't a tax deduction. It's more than that. Can you explain what homestead exemption is?
Well, in our office, homestead deduction is if you own a piece of property in my case, Webster County, you're entitled to a reduction off your property taxes. Here in Fort Dodge, it's about $250, and it varies town to town. The higher your levy rate is, the bigger your deduction is. It's also really important because I know there's some legal mandates attached to that as well. That would probably be more for an attorney, but it kind of protects you so you don't lose your house against, you know, unwanted predators. So it really is important, not only savings on taxes, but savings for your you know, what I want to say, your
property, your real property.
Yeah.
And the best thing I've heard, an example, if I can, is let's say you go to the doctor, you get overwhelmed with doctor bills, and they put a lien on your home. All they can do is put a lien on your home. They can't take your home from you if you filed for for homestead. If you haven't, technically that home can be sold to pay off your debts at some point in time. So,
Exactly.
homestead is
Yeah.
people don't plan on going bankrupt or doing anything like that, but it's just something that saves you to say, this is my home, this is my homestead, I'm going to live here forever.
Yep, that's a good example. Yep.
And you can only have one across the entire United States. Is that true? Do you know?
That is correct. You're entitled to one homestead, and it's the home you occupy on July 1 is what the code says. So, yeah.
Okay.
Because a lot of people have lake homes or, mountain homes, and yeah, you just get the one.
You pick which one you want and make sure you're there on July 1st.
There you go. Or the highest tax rate one. I didn't say that.
So you mentioned how often every other year the Department of Revenue looks at homes and makes sure we're right. How often do you reassess homes?
Okay, what we do in our office is every year we drive the urban areas, which means inside the city limits. And we're looking for anything, new, anything that's been removed. We also get permits from some of the towns. Fort Dodge is very good about giving us a permit list each month. Some of the smaller towns are also very good at that. We also, every other year, drive the entire county. That's all the rural area. Again, looking for anything that's been removed or anything that's been put up. Because even though Webster County is zoned and permits are required, a lot of people don't realize that. So we have our own planning and zoning commissioner right here in the courthouse. And so, so we look from the outside every year, every 2 years. We did just have a reappraisal done where we tried to get in the inside of homes.
So how often does that happen?
This one, we just completed the residential for 2020. Prior to that, it was 1997 that the urban residential
so every 20,
had been
25
done.
years. That's a while. Okay.
Yeah.
You just kind of mentioned that, and this is off topic too, but I've noticed since I become a realtor how many departments there is over there and how you guys all work together, like intermingling, because I've just noticed when I call you, like, oh, well, that's a good question, but let's call over there. And, and it's like, you guys all work really good together. And is that was that always intended or,
I think so. I think, we're step A in the tax process. We put the value on property. Then there's step B where once the department compiles all the new assessments in the state of Iowa, they're going to set that rollback because there's a certain amount that properties can raise statewide, not individually, not countywide, but statewide, it can only raise a certain percentage. So once they receive all those values from the assessors, and of course, 99 counties, and I believe we still have 8 city assessors, they're going to roll back that value to a taxable value. So now you've got your taxable value. Well, now we need a levy rate. How do we get that? So that comes from all your county officials, all your city officials, all your school districts, where and who needs money. So then they set the levy rate. So then you have that. So we do all kind of have to work together because we all do have a little piece of that puzzle that has to come together to have the final result.
So your piece of the puzzle is basically making sure that everybody pays their fair share. They're not paying too much, they're not paying too little, but they're paying exactly what they should pay.
Right, that they're fairly assessed. That's our main job.
And that's a big job.
It's a very big job. Yep. But I also want to mention that if you feel you are unfairly assessed, there is a protest time. You can come and have a conversation with me between April 2nd and April 25th of each year. The burden of proof is on you to prove that your value is not fairly and equitably assessed. If we can come to an agreement, great, we're done. You're here, you leave, you're happy. If you're not happy, you do have an opportunity to go to what's called the Board of Review. That board is made up of 5 members of your peers, completely separate from this office. So you have a chance to visit with them as well. They will not listen if you tell them your taxes are too high. We solely focus on assessments. So
funny story, I do come in every April and see you.
Not every April.
2 for 2. Every other April.
So you do have options if you feel you're unfairly assessed. And even if you
Like
go
I
to
said,
that
it's
number,
over the last 5 years.
I'm sorry, what was that?
You're cutting
I
in and
missed
out a
that.
little bit, Jeremiah.
I was gonna say over the last 5. I don't know what's going on. Can you hear me now?
I can. I think over the last 5 years, it's gotten much more fair and much easier to figure those out.
Yeah,
It has.
we've
I
really,
think in years past it was.
yeah, for a long time the values were stagnant. They weren't changing. It was probably had been that way for about 20 years. And you know, this is how the job should be done. This is how the job's going to be done. I know it messes with some people's escrows, you know, that fluctuation up and down. I know it messes with rents. But we have to be reactive to what the market's doing. And like I said, if we're not, then the Department of Revenue is going to do it, and we don't want that. So.
And once again,
Well,
it's what your house is valued at, so it adjusts. So, and if everybody's adjusts up, you're still paying your fair share.
Right. If that tax base goes up, taxes could go down.
Yeah,
I have
it's
yet
that
to see
outlier.
it, but right.
Yeah, it's the outliers that mess with you. The people that are way high, or the people that are way low, that are the ones that are kind of the outliers that mess up the whole process.
Yep. Exactly.
And final question, and we're running about at our 10, 11 minutes now, is Jim Kesterson is our broker, and he's also an appraiser. What's the difference between an assessment and an appraisal?
Okay, that's a great question. When an appraiser comes in, a fee appraiser, they're looking at one property. They're looking at one property, and then they're finding comparables to compare to that property. I'm looking at hundreds of properties. I'm considered a mass appraiser. So I'm looking at the big picture, not just one property.
That's a great answer.
Thank you.
That's a great answer and kind of a simple answer. Like I really like that.
When I thought of that question, my answer was, 4 paragraphs. So
Wow.
just there's so many little nuances, but as a general answer, that's perfect.
Well, I knew my time was getting run out, so.
There you go.
Well, I think you covered some really awesome stuff. I mean, we got how you get the assessments, homestead, difference between appraiser and assessment, a little bit of zoning. So yeah, that kind of tops off all the big. Is there anything else that you do that you do on a regular basis that we haven't discussed?
I mean, the daily thing is the value, the military and the homestead, those are huge credits. We also have other credits. If they want to go to our website, webstercountyia.org, they can find what credits there are available there, or they can go to the Iowa Department of Revenue website. If they ever receive anything from this office and they don't understand it or don't know why they're getting it, call us 576-4721 and we'll help them out. That's what we're here for.
Awesome.
Well, thank you so much, Angie. We appreciate your time today. And like I said, maybe someday you'll be YouTube famous.
Thanks for having me, guys.
Yep. Thank you.